Welcome back to the Silent Report. Tonight, we dive into one of the darkest, most disturbing secrets buried deep in the vaults of American history, a truth so dangerous that even speaking about it once got people disappeared, silenced, or worse. It's the story of a program so evil, so morally twisted, that it made even hardened CIA officers lose sleep at night. This isn't a spy thriller. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's real, documented, and still largely hidden from the public. We are talking about Project Artichoke, the secret CIA initiative that laid the groundwork for MKUltra. A project where human beings were used as guinea pigs. Where the lines between reality, control, and identity blurred. Where the goal wasn't just to manipulate memory, but to erase it, replace it, and rebuild it from scratch. They wanted to create the perfect mind-controlled assassin, and they didn't care who they destroyed along the way. This is the story the government never wanted you to know. It began in 1951. The Cold War was heating up. America feared communist infiltration, double agents, and psychological warfare. The CIA, fresh off its creation in 1947, wanted tools. Not guns, not bombs, but the ability to break the human mind. They didn't want to kill their enemies. They wanted to control them. And so, in complete secrecy, the CIA launched Project Bluebird. But within a year, it evolved into something far darker, Project Artichoke. The goals: interrogate foreign agents through extreme psychological techniques. Use hypnosis, forced addiction, drugs, electroshock, and sensory deprivation to reprogram the brain. They asked, can we control an individual to the point where they will carry out orders against their own will, even to the point of assassination? This wasn't theoretical. It was operational. Victims included prisoners, patients in psychiatric hospitals, military personnel, immigrants, and yes, even ordinary US citizens. Most had no idea what was happening to them. They were chosen because they were considered expendable, vulnerable, invisible. The CIA didn't just ask if a person could be programmed. They tested it. They abducted subjects, drugged them with LSD, mescaline, barbiturates, and scopolamine, sometimes for days on end. They used truth serums and sleep deprivation, combined with hypnosis, to see if they could erase memory or implant false ones. And when drugs weren't enough, they turned to the human soul. Spiritual and emotional isolation, locking people in sensory-deprived rooms, pumping in white noise for days, disorienting them until they didn't know who they were anymore. In one declassified memo, the CIA chillingly wrote, can we get control of an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will and even against fundamental laws of nature, such as self-preservation? The answer, disturbingly, seemed to be yes. One case, buried in redacted files, tells of a foreign national allegedly programmed through artichoke techniques. After weeks of conditioning, he was sent back into the field with no memory of his prior life. According to the report, when triggered by a specific code phrase, he carried out a mission he would otherwise have refused, believing it was his own idea. Who this person was, or what the mission involved, is still classified. And that's just one story. There are others, darker, more disturbing. Like the case of a woman codenamed Subject C. She was a 28-year-old American woman who had been institutionalized for depression. Without her knowledge, she was dosed with massive amounts of LSD and hypnotized repeatedly. Her mind began to fracture. She forgot her name, her family, her past. She began to speak in foreign languages she had never learned. When the experiment ended, she was dumped in a psychiatric hospital, labeled schizophrenic, and forgotten. She never knew she was part of a CIA project. The people running Artichoke operated from a cold, clinical detachment. They believed they were saving America. That the cost of a few ruined lives was worth it if they could create a human weapon, an agent who could infiltrate, spy, or kill on command and then forget everything. In some cases, Artichoke wasn't just about breaking a person, but building a new one. A person with no memory of their real identity. Only what their handlers implanted. This idea would later be explored and expanded in Project MKUltra, which the world now knows about. But Artichoke was the prototype. The hidden framework. The skeleton buried beneath the concrete. Most Americans still don't know this. Project Artichoke officially continued until 1956. But its methods, its findings, its personnel, and its ideological core were absorbed directly into MKUltra. The torturers didn't retire. They were promoted. The experiments didn't stop. They scaled up. But there's a reason Artichoke remains lesser known. Because its files were buried deeper. Fewer paper trails. More redactions. More lost documents. Even the Senate's 1975 Church Committee, the landmark investigation into intelligence abuses, barely scratched the surface of Artichoke. The committee focused on MKUltra. Yes, but even then, only a fraction of documents survived. The rest were destroyed in 1973 under direct orders from CIA Director Richard Helms. And what was lost may have been far more terrifying than what we found. Some researchers believe Artichoke was not just about espionage. It was a precursor to psychological control systems that may have been deployed domestically. Think about it, if you could erase memory and implant commands, why stop at spies? Could these same techniques have been tested on political dissidents, protesters, civil rights activists? In 1950s and 60s America, the FBI's COINTELPRO program already infiltrated and disrupted movements using surveillance, blackmail, and disinformation. What if the CIA had something even more insidious? What if they could erase a leader's will entirely? What if entire populations could be subtly influenced through drugged water, social engineering, or psychological triggers planted through the media? It sounds impossible, until you read the CIA's own documents. In one memo, Artichoke researchers discussed the use of hypnosis in combination with recorded suggestions and sleep deprivation to influence political behavior. The idea that people could be nudged into adopting ideas or actions they believed were their own. This wasn't mind control with wires and helmets. It was mind nudging. Slow, invisible, effective. Some have speculated that techniques developed under Artichoke may have been repurposed into modern-day programs focused on mass psychological influence, especially during times of political unrest. And if you think it's all just Cold War paranoia, think again. In 2012, the U.S. Air Force quietly released a white paper titled, Biological Psychology and the Future Warfighter. It discussed non-lethal psychological weapons, neuroweapon delivery systems, and cognitive engineering. One section even described the theoretical use of targeted microwave frequencies to alter mood, memory, and behavior. Sound familiar? It's Artichoke, rebranded for the digital age. Let's not forget, the victims of Artichoke never got justice. Most never even got acknowledgement. They were tossed aside, labeled as mentally ill or delusional, their memories shattered and their stories denied. But some survived. A handful came forward in the 1970s, their voices shaky, their accounts haunting. They described lost time, vivid hallucinations, voices in their heads, sudden outbursts of foreign languages, dreams of places they'd never been. And always, the lingering fear that someone else had been living inside them. In recent years, independent researchers have begun piecing together what remains of Artichoke's paper trail. Through FOIA requests, whistleblowers, and deep archival digging, a clearer picture is emerging. It's not just a story of unethical experiments. It's a warning that when a government begins to treat the human mind as a battlefield, there are no winners. Only victims. And what if it never ended? What if the techniques developed under Artichoke are still in use today, just better hidden? More refined, integrated into social media, entertainment, even healthcare. Could today's algorithms, designed to predict behavior, influence opinion, and manipulate emotion, be a high-tech descendant of Artichoke? Are we, in 2025, still living inside an experiment that began in 1951? Think about the rise of predictive programming. The subtle placement of themes and symbols in media that shape our collective psychology. Think about the behavioral tracking used by tech giants, often in collaboration with intelligence agencies. Think about the rise of neuromarketing, neuroeconomics, and behavioral engineering. It's not fiction. It's not paranoia. It's happening. And if Project Artichoke taught us anything, it's that once a government figures out how to break a mind, they don't stop. They refine. They replicate. They expand. They don't need to abduct people anymore. The laboratory is now digital. The subjects, you and me, every search we make, every app we download, every camera we look into. And the goal is still the same. Control the mind. Control the person. Control the future. This isn't just a historical investigation. It's a call to awareness. A reminder that what starts in secrecy always finds its way into society. That the tools built for war eventually end up in our homes, our schools, our cities. Project Artichoke may be officially over. But its legacy lives on, in algorithms, in social engineering, and in the quiet hum of surveillance systems that watch us sleep. Ask yourself, how much of your behavior is truly your own? How many of your thoughts are natural, and how many have been implanted? How do you know? This is the Silent Report, and we bring you the truths they never wanted you to hear. Stay awake, stay alert, and stay questioning everything. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video before it disappears, and support this channel as we continue to expose the hidden machinery behind our modern world. Until next time, stay silent, stay watching.